Sleep is an essential part of self-improvement. If you lack sleep, you're going to lack in all areas of your self-improvement. So, it is very important that you get a good sleep. In this video, I'm going to give some tips that I learned from Dr. Matt Volker, which is a great sleep scientist, sleep expert, and I'm going to share it with you, these tips. So the first 5 tips, you will probably know them. The other 5, you have probably not heard of them. So let's get into it. The first sleep tactic is to sleep at the same time every day. So if you're sleeping at 10:30 p.m., go and sleep every day at 10:30 p.m. No weekends, no weekdays. No, this is bro science now. The one part of your brain doesn't actually know the weekends or the weekdays, so it can't. Of course, the more updated brain of yours can tell the difference, but the other parts can't tell it. So sleep at the same time every day. So the second tactic is keeping your bedroom cool. So you have probably have heard of this. Just before you go to bed, just open the window and let the air come out, and it will probably cool. Try to get your room temperature in about 18 degrees Celsius, which I know that is cold for some people. Just you'll get used to it. The third tactic is try to dim your spotlights and lights in general before 1 or 2 hours before going to bed. So it's a relatively simple one. If you have any devices that can turn the night shift on, which what night shift does is basically it makes your screen go from blue light to kind of a yellowish light. So I use that and dim all the lights. Try to dim as much as you can, or even close some of your lights. The fourth tactic is sometimes you're not going to get to bed and instantly sleep, and you turn to the other side and you turn to the other side. It's uncomfortable. In about 25 minutes, if you can't sleep, which your mind will probably feel late 25 minutes, just get out of the bed and read a book or meditate or wind down, essentially, to get ready for sleep. And then when your sleepiness comes again, go to bed. And the fifth tactic is try to stay away from caffeine. You probably know this. I don't need to fully explain this, right? General rule of thumb to apply is don't drink anything with caffeine in the previous 10 hours of your bedtime. So let's say you're going to bed at 11, then your last drink should be at 1 p.m. I know that is hard for some people, but it really helps your sleep. So why don't you do it? It will help your sleep. So these are the tactics you probably knew. Now we get to the good stuff. the good stuff that you probably haven't heard of. So, the first unconventional tactic is when you have a bad night's sleep, which means you couldn't sleep the night for some reason. Wake up at the same time. Don't snap. Do not snap. Do not try to go to bed early the next night. Like, wow. Why? You might ask. Because your brain has this schedule in keeping time. So if you got a bad sleep, do not try to quote unquote recover it with more sleep. Your brain messes up the time if you do that. So if you have a bad night's sleep, do nothing. Just follow the normal schedule. The next unconventional tactic is, this might sound very ridiculous or just very shocking to you, is do not count sheep. Now, I know if you've been told to count sheep from your childhood. Just count sheep and you'll fall asleep. No, actually there's a study on that it is affecting your sleep in a bad way. Now, I'm going to explain in bro science, so this is all bro science from now. I think your brain, when you count sheep, is constantly processing new things, so that's why you can't sleep. To sleep, you should get your brain to relax. So how do you do that? This is the end of the pro science part. How do you do that? You imagine taking a walk in the jungle. Imagine a walk very pleasant in the jungle, or even a beach, just a sunny day with the sea or the ocean waves coming and going. Just relax your brain and you will fall asleep way faster than if you were to count sheep. So yeah, don't count sheep. The next tactic is have a wind down routine. So choose a winding down routine that works for you. Either you read a book, or you journal, or you meditate, all kinds of stuff. You choose. Just before 10 or 20 minutes before sleep, have a wind down routine, whether you read books, meditate, etc., etc. It's up to you which one you choose. So have a wind down routine. So the next tactic is remove or cover the clocks on your bedroom. Now that may seem really awkward. Why would you do such a thing? Well, because once you look at the timer and you couldn't sleep for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, your brain thinks I'm going to have a bad night's sleep. No, I'm going to have a bad night's sleep. If you were real, I personally don't use this tactic because, I use my timer right there. So when I look at the timer, when I look at the clock, I can just instantly see it. I'm too lazy to open up my phone and click and then tell the time. I turn my head and boom, there's there. So the lesser effective but more useful tactic would be, do not look at the clock. Like, I use this. I don't look at the clock. If some days where, like, I don't know what happens, but it isn't my day for sleep, I turn to the other side, and I relax, I open my feet, I open my hand, when I'm like turning in the bed. Then I will look at the time to tell if 20-30 minutes have passed. And if you're wondering, it is, I think, more useful the way I do this, but you can just remove it if you don't use it, if you don't use clocks frequently. The last tactic depends on person to person, so that's why I put it at the last. Now, the tactic is about taking naps. Now, I know that some people really feel their naps, and if I take their naps away from them, they'll be sad and bad. So the tactic is, don't take naps after 1 p.m. Now, that is harsh for some of you, and if you really need your nap, like, I'm not a sleep expert, bro, but if you say, oh, I can't do without my naps, my energy is so low, I need a nap, then probably we can work that out. But otherwise, if you're not a napper, don't take naps after 1 p.m. I know that some people can really take a nap and feel refreshed, and then it doesn't affect sleep. If you're one of these people, then it's good for you. You have a skill. Like, so yeah, it depends on person to person, but if you're some guy who feels like the nap disrupts your sleep, then don't take the nap. So these are the time tactics that Dr. Matt Walker, who is a very good sleep expert, says. So if you found this valuable in any sense, or you've enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe.